Everybody understands that you need a rest between sets, but for how long? Well, there's actually 5 reasons that determine how long the rest needs to be for it to be safe and effective. Let's talk about the ideal rest time between sets to maximize muscle building safely, which is really a common question I get from busy people who want to get maximum results in minimum time. Too short of a rest and we burn out, sacrifice quality, get injured, and sabotage our results. Too long of a rest and we run out of time and can't finish the workout. I'll share with you how to fix both by working smarter, not harder, with optimal rest times. And if you're anything like me, where you want to get the best results, but you also have to balance, work, family, social life, activities, and don't want to spend all day in the gym and can't afford to get injured. By the end of this video, you'll learn why we need to rest at all, the 5 constraints that determine the optimal rest time between sets to maximize results, my bonus pro tips to save time, maximize time, and muscle building, then give you an example of what that looks like, and at the very end, I'll go over the scientific studies. So why do we need to rest at all? Every workout, every rep, every second is to build muscle by stimulating hypertrophy, which is muscle growth. Anything that limits your ability to create hypertrophy is a constraint that we have to rest for. There are 5 primary constraints that determine your rest time, and we're gonna go over those today. The first one is energy. It takes about 2 minutes for the ATP, CP energy system in the muscle to recover to around 90%, and it takes about 3 to 5 minutes to fully replenish up to 100%. So rule of thumb is to at least wait till you can do 5 or more reps, because that's the minimum effort and volume you'll need to create hypertrophy. The second one is cardiovascular. After you complete a set, you'll be a little bit out of breath. Your heart rate will be elevated and you'll just generally be somewhat fatigued. So if you're an overachiever who likes to combine, resistance training with cardio just to feel productive and feel like you're sweating, keeping your heart rate up, it's really not how it works. I recommend you keep them separate. So I want you to wait till you're not breathing heavy and your heart rate comes back down, so that cardio doesn't limit your ability to push hard and create hypertrophy on that next set. So for instance, calf raises won't cause you to really be cardiovascularly limited at all compared to doing heavy squats. The goal is to work smart with quality and wait till your cardio isn't a limiting constraint on your next set. So wait to do the next set until you can talk without breathing heavy. The third is your nervous system and psychology. It needs a break, because it gets taxed during the workout, which depletes your neurotransmitters that reduces your strength and coordination. So this goes hand in hand with your psychology, because if you look at the weight and feel like it's gonna crush you instead of you crushing it, then take a longer rest. The next is biomechanics. Think of this as your quality metric, your form, your control, your technique, quality body mechanics, and posture. The more complicated, advanced, or risky the exercise is, the longer of a break you'll need to take. So don't start the next set until you're able to have perfect execution, and probably never do that.
You serious?
For example, seated calf raises do not need as much preparation as barbell squats. Next is synergistic muscles. So for example, if you're doing pull-ups, which targets the back, if your forearms are burning and giving out, that's a synergistic muscle, you might need to take an even longer break to let your forearms catch up so that it doesn't hold you back on the next set. So what does all this mean, and how long do we need to rest between sets? Well, it really depends on what you're doing. So for most of your isolated exercises and just kind of smaller muscle groups in general, like bicep curls, triceps, calf raises, the majority of the time, about 2 minutes is how long it'll take. Now let's compare barbell squats, which is gonna be those exercises that are a lot more complicated, a lot more intense, and just take a lot more energy. So when we're looking at the energy, which again is how long the muscle is going to take to recover that you're targeting, barbell squats could take up to at least 3 minutes, right? Your quads to recover, for example. Now, cardiovascular, with barbell squats, it's a lot more taxing. It could take you up to 4 minutes where you're not breathing heavy and for you to be able to catch your breath again. Nervous system psychology could take you at least 3 minutes for your nervous system to be able to be ready, as well as just for you to look at the weight and be able to be pumped up and give it your all. Biomechanics, again, this is a more complicated exercise. There's a lot more going on here. So it can take you up to 4 minutes to recover and be ready for this next set. Now again, synergistic muscles, again, barbell squat is a very complex exercise. Lower back, for instance, is a synergistic muscle, even though let's say you're maybe targeting your quads and glutes here. Synergistic muscle for your lower back might take you, 3 minutes for that lower back to recover, or maybe even 5 minutes if you have a weak lower back or a back injury, and you might have to wait up to 5 minutes just for your lower back to be able to recover. So all in all, the lower back is going to take the longest. You have to wait up to 5 minutes or whatever is the longest on each of those checklists for you to be ready to go into that next set. So generally speaking, the rest time is going to be between about 2 minutes and 5 minutes, depending on those 5 factors and who you are as an individual and what exercise you're doing. So studies show that there's really no downside to resting longer, except for your workout takes longer. So if there's days where you feel fatigued, you didn't get good sleep, and you need more rest, no problem. And on the days where you ate perfectly, you slept perfectly, you're hydrated, you're feeling amazing, you may not need as much of a rest time. So bonus tip number 1 is to maximize your rest time by using it to prepare. So instead of scrolling on your phone, you should be using it to get ready for the next set. Thinking about how your body feels, visualizing if you can improve your form, if you need to go up in weight, down in weight, and really just use it to get your mind in the right place. Bonus pro tip number 2, if you need to save time, what you can do is pick like 1 or 2 core exercises like barbell squats, like bench press, to really focus on, take longer breaks, and then use shorter breaks for the rest of the workout so you can get through it a little bit faster, especially like your smaller exercises and isolated movements. All right, so if you've made it this far into the video, it means that you want to know about the scientific studies and what they have to say. So the first study in 2016 was done by Schoenfeld. Researchers ran an 8-week full body training program, split lifters into 2 different groups. Group 1 rested for 1 minute between sets, and group 2 rested for 3 minutes between sets. The results were the group that took a longer rest built noticeably more muscle in the quads and triceps, and they also won in terms of gaining significantly more strength in the bench press and squat. Both groups improved equally in muscular endurance. Another analysis in 2017 looked at 6 different studies. They compared basically short rest time versus long rest time. And the conclusion was simple. Resting for longer than 1 minute consistently outperformed resting for less than 1 minute. So here's the truth. Rest is not wasted time. It's time spent preparing for the next set, preventing injury, and maximizing your results. Hey, what are you still doing watching this video? Go to the gym right now, rest between your sets, and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time.